Master Coach Bill, analyzing another game by R2Kmo against johnmorales80. This is from the correspondence team match between my Video Lessons Club and chess.com Espanol. And R2Kmo won both games. He got a little fortunate here. We'll see when we get there. So this is a little odd. If white plays queen takes e3 or queen takes d4 after knight c6, queen e3, we're in the center game. It's about even. But white chooses to play here, and black transposes into a scotch. Now here, black completely misplaced this. Again, black is not using opening resources at his disposal. This is a book position from the scotch. There are three playable moves here. One is knight f6, just attacking the pawn. Another is bishop c5, putting an attack on the knight. And the third is queen h4. Queen h4 is an interesting line. White will gambit a pawn in order to displace the black king. Now, taking this is a huge blunder. Bishop f3, black's in big trouble. So black stops and plays king d8. And I've known players that will accept this line where the king gets misplaced. The idea is they think they can steal the pawn and survive. It requires a lot of research, if you want to try this. So, black comes up with a totally unacceptable move here, and no book would recommend it. Here black is developing white's queen. White is not moving his queen to d4. White is not making this move. Black is. Don't move your opponent's pieces, okay? So white has a little development advantage, and black commits another error here. Now, in theory, black is now losing this. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. It's the concept of two weaknesses. This pawn is backward on the open file, and this is a hole. So later, if the knight goes to d5, and if it's traded, we don't want to take back with the pawn, because then we eliminate both black's weaknesses. But we could argue here that Magnus Carlsen defeats anybody in history with white here because of the two weaknesses. So because of upside castling, this position dictates pawn storms, and that's what they both start. And here it comes. But here I think white commits a huge mistake. White grabs the pawn. Now you see, the pawn isn't going anywhere. It's always going to be backward, unless black is able to successfully advance it. It's always going to be backward, so why not continue with what you're doing and collect that pawn in the endgame? Maybe you can generate a mating attack. So g5 is the indicated move here. Let's just play g5, and if black moves his knight, white's attack is off and running. He could, advance another pawn, trying to bust open this king. He could make a defensive move, king b1, so that if this knight is chased, we don't drop this pawn. This would be much better for white. White's got a very strong position. So grabbing the pawn was, not a good move. And black is going to end up with the upper hand here, as we will see. So here comes b4. And, white's won a pawn, but black's going to get it back. And there it is. He's got the pawn back. And, whose king looks in jeopardy? Well, white's does. I mean, if black can make two consecutive moves here, rook d8, and queen here is mate. So, white's in trouble, so white gets his king the heck out of there. Here comes the check. And, more pressure. Maybe getting ready to play here. White would love to castle kingside, but it's illegal. His king already castled queenside. He only castled once during the game. And this just drops a pawn in the check. Okay, and another check. Black is now a pawn ahead, and where's white's attack? Well, it's going to come because black misplays this. Okay, gets the king the heck out of here. And here black makes, just another totally useless rook pawn move. I mean, we talked about this in the other game. It was, designed to keep a bishop and knight out of the square. Well, this doesn't keep anything out of g5. White doesn't want to put anything on g5. Well, maybe he wants to put the queen here and attack the rook, get the king out of there, so you can put the rook here so you can threaten mate. Well, that's long-winded. That's a long way off. So, maybe what black wanted to do was play a natural-looking move like rook d2, and he says, well, if I do that, I get checkmated. So, I don't want to get checkmated, and so I'll just clear my back rank, and then I'll do it later. But it's not necessary. Black could find so many better moves here. One is just to play queen d4. Okay, queen d4 accomplishes a lot. It attacks the queen, which is unprotected, and it also has an attack down here. And if queen takes, rook takes, black's pieces are better posted, and he's a pawn ahead. Black should most likely win this endgame without a whole lot of difficulty. White's fighting for a draw. So, h6 did not help black at all. Black is his own worst enemy here, as you'll see over the coming moves. He chases the queen. He gets his pawns rolling. Now, a5, this is slow. See, he's trying to advance, maybe advance his pawn majority, get an exchange, advance these up. But this is a slow process. Meanwhile, there's heavy material that white has on the board that's, white's going to finally start his attack. So, what should black have done? Well, come back and offer a queen trade. Let's trade queens. I'll win the ending. Okay. Maybe even play c4 and offer a queen trade. So, like for instance, c4. If takes, take back with the pawn. This is in black's favor. You take again. This is just helping black. Now black's ready to play b3 and have an outside pass pawn. So we're getting close to it. We have to make sure the bishop doesn't get chased off. But this was in black's favor. This rook is not helping white. The bishop is passive. So, black is making moves that don't further his cause. They're very slow, so white just starts making attacking moves. He gets the rook on the open file. And now he threatens a mate. So black has to defend the mate. How are you going to do that? It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. One way you can do it is kind of a surprise move here, but this position is now turned and it's in white's favor. So bishop g4 check says, if you take with the rook, I'll come down here and check you. And now black's chances of a perpetual check are, black is going to draw this. Okay, so white would have to take with the king, and now black to play. He's down a piece, but for the moment you've stopped the threat on the back rank, and now you can play rook takes d1. And after takes, here comes a check, and the king moves, and we gobble this up. And maybe we're headed for a draw, but a draw is certainly better than a loss. White might try to get something in here and set up a perpetual check or whatever, but it's clearly this is better for black than what he did. So after g6, white is just crushing, and f5 is a strong move, and now he retreats. Now here black had one more chance to hold this, and that was to push the pawn to f6. Let's keep this g file closed. See, white can't take it because we're going to go pin the queen to the king. So f6 holds on for black, but it's still a little murky here. But black does have some chances. Not as big as advantage as he once had, but it's better than going down in flames. So, you know, analyze checks, captures, and threats. Okay, you know that's why he missed this bishop g4. That was a check. Analyze it. You have time. It's not. This is not a substitute for over the board play. You're supposed to analyze. Now all the lines are opening up, and the white king, as exposed as he's been, is actually quite safe, and the black king is in jeopardy. So white is winning. And now it's just a simple mate and two, and he goes back, and game over. So white got a little lucky there. The mistake was grabbing this pawn too early instead of continuing with his attack. Well, thanks for watching. Take care.